welcome to another episode of What to Know. What to Know is a program to raise awareness, to inform, and to educate immigrants and refugees so they can well integrate their host community. My name is Mavi Gamon. Today, we are discussing the upcoming election in the USA. We are going to talk about topic that will help us to understand our choice on November 5th. Ready? Let's go. To do so, we have a very wonderful guest. I'm going to give him the floor to introduce himself. Welcome, Brother George.
Thank you, Amavi. Thanks for having me. My name is George Tunu, and I'm a proud member of the African community in the Quad Cities. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Please tell me, Brother George, what is election?
So, that's a good question. You know, when you go to the dictionary, election is usually defined as a formal and organized way to choose somebody that we want to lead us. A quick example, we have different associations in the Quad Cities where we vote to elect people to lead us. So usually before we go to a vote, we make sure that there is a process in place in making sure that things go according to plan. So that election is just a way of us to choose the next leader.
Thank you very much for the answer. So, talking about this topic, how many type of election we have in the USA, and which one every citizen must participate?
Okay. I will start with the second part of the question. In every election in this country, only citizens have the right to vote. If you are not a citizen of this country, please don't try to vote in any election. There are, if you look in a general term, there are three types of elections. There are federal elections where we elect the president and the vice president, and we also elect the Congress of United States. That's at the federal level. Then there are state elections. State elections where we elect the governor. We also elect the state representative, state house, state senate. Sometimes we even elect the judges. And then we have local elections where we elect the mayor, the city council, the school board, all those things. Those are in general the three types of elections that we have in this country.
We have three types of election in the USA. Thank you. So can you please tell me how many political parties we have in the USA and how they work?
So we have several political parties. We only hear about two of them.
Mm-hmm.
We only hear mostly about the Democratic Party and the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
Other political parties that we have are the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, all those parties that we have out there. The way the political parties functions, for example, is like when election is coming up, and I'm going to take the Democratic Party, for example, or the Republican Party. Assuming that you want to be president of the country in either party, you make a decision to be a candidate. There might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even 10. At one point, we have 20 candidates for that position. And you go through the primary process. And the proud people of this country will make a decision on people that they trust most.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, the person that has the most delegates is the one that becomes the nominee of the party. They go through the convention. And then, you go through the process and see if the American people will put their trust in you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way the process works.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the answer. So you talk about, we have many political parties in the USA, but we have two major parties. Can you please talk to us about those two majors?
So, for example, when we look at we'll start with the Republican Party, for example. The Republican Party believe in certain things.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually called the Conservative Party, where they believe in limited government, where they believe in tax cuts, where they believe that people should be free to make their own decisions. They also strongly believe in what we call the Second Amendment, especially when it comes to the gun ownership. Those are certain values that come with the Republican Party. When you look at the Democratic Party believes that the government has a role to play in the society. That means, like, look, people need help, the government should intervene to assist, right? They also believe in what we call, for example, progressive taxation, which is that, the more you make, the more you should pay in income. There is that thinking process that you are successful because of the country in which you live in and the opportunity that country provides to you to have the money that you have. So the more you make, the more you should pay income taxes. That's basically the difference between the political parties. We can dive in on whether that is true or not in practice, but that's generally the way those political parties think about themselves.
Thank you. I like this part because before we go to choose on November 5th, we need to understand, because you talk about those two major parties, right?
Yeah.
And we are going to choose in between them, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to ask again, because I heard some people say this party, they want people to avert, this party, they don't want immigrants in the country. So can you explain those things a little bit more? So on November 5th, we can go and make a choice that we understand.
Okay, I think that's a good question. And I will take the piece of the abortion, for example, that you talk about first. It is a complex dynamic, in our country. That then the question of freedom, when you listen to what politicians are saying on TV now, then the question of freedom that the Republican Party prays so much is involved, and the limited government role. You ask your question, all those things. So this is what is happening. The United States Supreme Court made a decision. We have a decision in the book for a long time that said that until a certain period, a woman has a right to make an end to a pregnancy.
Wow.
That's been in the book for over 50 years. 2 years ago, the Supreme Court, 2 or 3 years ago, the Supreme Court made a decision that no longer exists, that they give that to the states to make the decision upon. When that happened, about 20 states in the United States decide that after 6 weeks, a woman cannot abort a baby. After 6 weeks. That's the time where usually, maybe some women don't even know whether they are pregnant yet. It becomes an issue of contention. When a pregnancy is viable and all those things. So within the two parties, the Democratic Party is saying this: when it comes to making a decision to abort a pregnancy, it should be a decision between the woman, her husband, and her doctor. That the government should not have any role in telling a woman what they should do. The Republican Party say, no, as a government, we have a role to play in making sure that women don't abort the baby.
Yes.
Now, it goes back to the vision that those two parties laid out for years, where it's come to freedom, right? The Republican Party for years have said that, people should be free to own guns. People should be free to do what they want in their own lives. Now they are saying that, no, people should not be free to make a decision about their body. And then the Democratic Party saying, so what is it? So are you picking and choosing what freedom we should have now, when for many years you said this, right? So that's a point of contention. At the end of the day, how do we define freedom? And it's going to be up to everyone to really make a decision, right, on what they want to do on November 5th. So I forget the other part of the question, but that's specifically on the part of the abortion.
Yes. You answered my question. Thank you. Yeah, I know on November 5th we will make the right choice. So, one thing I have noticed, many immigrants, they don't know when there is election and where to go to vote. So can you please tell us, to if somebody wanna, like, how can somebody know where to go to vote, or there is an upcoming election?
So, unfortunately, in United States, there is no structured way. Every state, every county has their way of organizing the election. However, for example, because we are in the Rock Island County, you can go to the Rock Island County website and see all the information about election, right? If you are already a registered voter, the good thing that this country does, and you have not moved, they will send you your registration card. You still get that in the mail. I still get mine in the mail all the time. We also, as a community, we are working on a flyer that's going to be ready in the next 48 hours. That's going to be indicative of what people should do when election is coming. So that's so that's all the only thing we can do at this time.
Thank you. Thank you. You are right to say there is not like something established, because personally I have investigated on that, to help the community to know this in the year we have this upcoming election at this time. But when I do all my research, I came back to like there is not something established for that. So you just wait. When the time is coming, when there is an upcoming election, they will send you mail, so you will know, or but many of immigrants, they don't read English. Those mail, most of the time they are in English, so that's why many of them, they don't know there is an election and when, and where to go. So that's the point of this this program today. And thank you for making this flyer too. That will, I'm very sure that will help the community. Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
So my next question for you is that it is important to vote. Some people think, it's not important anyway. We just need a leader. That's it. So do you think it is important to go and vote on November 5th?
It is. I'm not going to say it is important. I will say it is critical. It is critical to exercise our right to vote. As an immigrant in this country, especially, a lot of us come from several countries of Africa where we feel like our votes usually don't count. And I usually tell my daughters that if you are not at the table, you are on the menu. If we who are citizens of this country are not making sure that our voices are heard, decisions are going to be made for us. So for me, I think, and for us as a community, we have to do every single thing that we can in making sure that we provide the right information to people, to provide the education that people deserve, and assist people so they can exercise their vote. We cannot live in a community where we always find excuses not to go vote. And I'm going to give an example. In Rock Island County, for example, people can start voting early on September 26th. Starting next week, people can start voting early. Election day is not until November 5th. So what excuse should you give yourself that from September 26th until November 5th, you don't have the time to go vote? And then, after the election, you start complaining about how you don't like this policy, why you don't like this law, why you don't like this. We have to do everything we can in making sure that everyone who's citizen in this community, 100% that they go out and vote this year. And I'm committed to help, like you have told me to. We are committed in making sure that people go out and vote.
Thank you. So from next week, you can vote. Yes, you don't need to wait November 5th to vote, but from next week, September 26th,
yes,
you can go to Rock Island County.
Yes.
So for those who live in the Quad City, but for those who live in the another state, you can go to the library. That's a good place to go. you can go to the library next to you and you ask them for any information where you need to go to vote, what date, and they have all the information for you. Thank you, Brother George.
You're welcome.
So please, what can you tell, what advice can you give someone watching us right now?
So the advice that I'm going to give people is to make a right choice for the country. And I'm going to go through, like, personally, the criteria that I use, with my own family or my daughters when it comes to election. One, you have to make sure that as a citizen, you can go to the website of the person who said they are running for office. When you go to the website, you'll be able to read the program of the person. Two, you have to listen to what that person is saying. You have to pay attention to speeches and the things that is coming out of the mouth of those people who are running for office. Three, if that person has run for office before or has been in a position when that person made the decision that impact people, go look at those decisions that the person made and how those decisions impacted people. Fourth, you as a parent, if you have to sit down with your children and give them advice on what you look in a leadership, is the person that you are choosing a person that you can tell your children, that's the type of leader that I want. And then finally, when you sit down in your chair 10 years from now and you look back, have you made the right decision? Yes. That's my criteria. People will have their own criteria. Because, and for me, the fourth part is critical as part of a leadership, because we aspire for our children to be better than we are. And when we aspire to do that, we usually say, you know what? This person is, you can look up to this person because of this and that and that. And usually those are the people who lead us. Sometimes it's within our church. Is that the type of pastor that I really want to lead me? Is that the type of priest that I would like to lead me? Is it the type of leader that I want to have in my community? Those things are important in making decisions also when we are choosing a leader of the country. So people are going to have their own criteria, but that's just the criteria that I use with my family that I would like to share with everyone this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother George. Thank you for watching. We would like to remind you to like, to share, and to subscribe. And we wanted to remind you again, next week you can go and vote. You don't need to wait November 5th. So we also want to remind you to go to our channel, Global Diaspora TV, to watch many other videos that will help you to better integrate the American community. What to know? Because knowledge is power. Thank you. See you next time.